Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking those super complex procurement laws and translating them into clear, actionable knowledge. We want you navigating government bidding with total confidence. So if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by the sheer volume of rules out there, well, you're in exactly the right place. Let's jump right in.
Let's start with a scenario that honestly keeps a lot of suppliers awake at night. Are you terrified that just one missing brochure, or maybe an expired permit, is going to instantly disqualify your bid? Look, it is incredibly common for prospective bidders to feel this way. There's this huge fear that a minor technical oversight, literally a single piece of paper slightly out of place, will trigger an instant, unforgiving disqualification. It's a heavy burden, right? And honestly, it stops so many capable businesses from even trying to secure these really lucrative government contracts.
Well, I've got some incredibly reassuring news for you today, so don't let that fear stop you. The new Government Procurement Act, that's RA 12009, actually acts as a shield for you. It provides a highly transparent process that is specifically designed to prevent bias, eliminate those arbitrary rejections, and just give you absolute peace of mind. The law is not out to trick you, I promise. It's actually structured to protect you.
So the absolutely crucial point here is understanding exactly how that initial check works. If we look at Section 59.1 of the Implementing Rules and Regulations, we find the famous pass or fail criteria. During the preliminary examination of bids, the Bids and Awards Committee, the BAC, simply uses this non-discretionary criterion. They are strictly checking for the physical presence of your required documents against a checklist. Think of it like a simple inventory check, just to see if the document is actually in the envelope. This entirely removes human discretion, subjectivity, or bias from the equation. If the paper is there, you pass that requirement. It really is as wonderfully simple as that.
And this perfectly illustrates a distinction that causes so much unnecessary panic. It is absolutely vital to understand this difference. During that initial opening stage, the committee is only checking if a document is physically there. They're not reading every single fine detail or, authenticating your signatures with a magnifying glass. The deep dive into the document's actual quality, truthfulness, and legal validity, that happens much, much later during the post-qualification stage. So take a deep breath. That very first hurdle is simply about presence and completeness.
Now, okay, there is one major exception to this just be present rule. The only real trap to watch out for early on is submitting something that is patently insufficient. What in the world does that mean? Well, it means the document is physically sitting there in the envelope, sure, but it is fundamentally useless, substantively inadequate, or just glaringly incomplete right on its face. It would literally be like submitting a completely blank sheet of paper and calling it a financial statement. That's a no-go.
Let's make this crystal clear so you never fall into this trap. Examples that are going to instantly trigger a failed rating for being patently insufficient include omitting required brochures that the checklist specifically asked for, or maybe forgetting to sign key pages where a signature is absolutely mandatory. It also includes using outdated versions of standard forms or submitting expired permits under normal bidding conditions. And listen closely here, because there's one more highly specific pitfall that catches even the most experienced bidders completely off guard.
Consider a typical price schedule. As previous procurement opinions like NPM 038/2015 clearly state, leaving blank spaces here renders a bid completely non-responsive. Why? Well, because leaving blank spaces opens the door to unauthorized insertions after the fact, which totally compromises the integrity of the bid. So, remember this golden rule. You must always use a zero or a dash to indicate if an item is being offered for free to the government. Never, ever leave it blank. Just put a zero or a dash.
So, what about those expired permits we mentioned earlier? When dealing with expired documents, the general rule under Section 20.2.9.2 is strict. An expired document equals a failed rating. But RA 12009 actually has a heart when the situation calls for it. During declared emergencies where time is absolutely of the essence to save lives or restore vital services, Section 35.2.1 kicks in. This amazing emergency exception allows the temporary acceptance of an expired mayor's permit, as long as you have an official receipt proving you've already applied for the renewal. It just goes to show that the law adapts to reality while still maintaining accountability.
But let's look at everyday, normal conditions for a second. To maintain your eligibility and competitiveness, Section 20.2.9.2 mandates that you always ensure your documents are current. Failure to update your eligibility documents will actually result in the automatic suspension of your PhilGIPS Platinum membership. And look, you've worked really hard to build your business credibility. Do not let an automated system suspend you simply because you forgot to upload your latest tax clearance. Stay on top of it.
At this point, you might be wondering, hey, if the opening stage is just a simple inventory check, does the Bids and Awards Committee simply skip evaluating who actually has the best proposal?
Did they just award the massive government contract to whoever showed up with the most paper?
Let's zoom out a bit and see how this all builds into the complete picture. The answer is not at all. The law actually mandates a highly logical, three-step chronological progression to ensure meticulous review and absolute fairness for every single bid. It's a journey from presence to value and finally to truth. Let's walk through these 3 steps together. As we've been talking about, Rule 8 governs Step 1, which is the opening. This is where that non-discretionary pass or fail check is applied, just to see if your required documents are physically accounted for and not patently insufficient. This step just clears out the bids that didn't follow the basic instructions, which ensures the committee only spends its valuable time evaluating complete submissions. Next up is Step 2, governed by Rule IX, and this is the detailed evaluation. Now this is where the competition really heats up. The committee crunches the numbers and assesses the technical specs to identify the lowest calculated bid or the highest rated bid. They are looking for the absolute best value for the government. And notice, they're doing this without worrying about forensic legal authentications just yet. Right now, they just want to know who is offering the best deal on paper.
And finally, we reach Step 3. Under Section 63.3, the committee initiates Post-Qualification. This is the vital stage where the winning bidder's submitted documents are rigorously verified. The BAC validates the truthfulness, the authenticity, and the legal validity of everything you submitted. They might check in with the BIR or verify your track record. If you pass this final test, you become the lowest calculated and responsive bidder, and guess what? The contract is yours.
Now that you understand the safeguards and the logical progression of RA 12009, you can see that compliance isn't a trap at all. It's your pathway to eligibility and credibility. The law is specifically designed to give you a fair shot, so submit your bid with confidence. Know the rules, trust the process, and let RA 12009 work in your favor. Your fear of disqualification ends right here. Knowing these rules is your competitive advantage. So I want to leave you with this final exciting thought. What incredible government projects are you ready to win now that your fear of disqualification is completely gone?